Everyone loves stickers. I always recommend stickers as a #1 priority item to invest in for anyone starting out on their Artist Alley journey. And making them at home is an even more affordable way to build your inventory, if you have the means. And if you weren't interested in making your own stickers, you wouldn't be watching this video. So let's get right into learning how to make stickers. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Ashley, artist behind 𝐿SPIRIT Designs, and I have been making my own stickers since 2017. In fact, I became so good at making stickers that I opened my second business, Spooky Stickers, which is a sticker manufacturing service for other artists. So of course, if you aren't ready to make your own stickers at home, you can always order with me and I'm happy to make them for you. But otherwise, stick around for my in-depth tutorial on how to make your own stickers. Let's quickly cover what programs and machines I will be using in this tutorial, as well as what this tutorial will and won't cover. I will be using Silhouette Studio and 2 Silhouette Cameo 3 cutting machines to set up cut files and cut out all of the stickers. I will be using Photoshop for getting some files ready for cut lines, though I will show a brief demonstration on how you can do this in Procreate as well. Some of the Photoshop functions can be done in Photoshop equivalent software. The sticker paper I use is all Online Labels brand, and my in-house printer is an 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐜𝐫𝐢𝐻𝐿 8550, though 80% of my stickers are printed through a local printer for quality and longevity. This is not a Cricut or 𝐼𝐸𝐴 tutorial, and I have never used their software. This is not a how to use Silhouette Studio tutorial. I will be working through Silhouette Studio with the assumption that you already have an understanding of the program. Please understand that the settings and details that I cover in this tutorial are what work for me and may not necessarily work for you. Sticker making is very much a trial and error process, and the settings that I'm using will probably work differently with your paper, your sticker cutter, and your printer. So without further ado, let's get into step 1, and do not forget to hit like and subscribe. Since I'm still working through a record number of sticker orders since releasing that coupon in May, I'm going to be using example stickers that are customer orders, but they are ones who have given permission for use on social media with credit given. I make both die cut stickers and kiss cut sticker sheets for myself and my customers, so I will show you a few ways to prep both of these kinds of files. So let's go ahead and open Photoshop. So we're gonna start with die cuts. Die cut stickers are individual stickers that are often contour cut to the shape of the design. And when I make these stickers for either myself or my customers, they either have a white background because I cannot print clear stickers, or they have a colorful border around the entire thing, depending on the design and the artist's preference. Your sticker designs might be saved in a variety of file types. I receive sticker files in a variety of file types. The most common ones are PNG, JPEG, and PSD. PNGs are the easiest to work with, especially if they are transparent, though if I receive PSD files, I will flatten them to my specs that I need to make them. So we're going to do an example of each. So here is a transparent flattened PNG. It is not cropped, so we're going to crop it to the edge of the artwork. If this had a white border, I would probably remove it, and that's because sometimes when you import a white border into Silhouette Studio, there will be a gray mark around it, and I don't want that. And if you have a design with a solid color border that's not going to have a white border, you'll crop it to the edge of the border rather than the edge of the artwork. So you're just kind of using the border as the edge of the artwork. And you will want to save these as transparent PNGs, which these already are. If they had a white background layer, you would just want to delete that and save it as a PNG. So a quick tip, you cannot save a 𝐶MYK color file as a PNG. You have to convert it to RGB, and if you have any colors in your design that aren't going to be very printer friendly, this is going to be a great time to find out what colors those are and adjust them accordingly. If you have a JPEG file with a solid white background and it's already flattened, you're gonna wanna use the magic wand tool and select the space around it and then just delete. So if this has a solid color border instead of a white, and you have a JPEG file with the solid background like this, you will use the magic wand tool to select the background, right click, select inverse, go up to select, modify, expand. I usually do between 15 and 40 pixels for this part, depending on the size of the artwork. We're gonna stick with this 20. and hit enter. And so that will create a little contour around the shape. Now, sometimes this is kind of blocky, and if that's the case, you'll go back up to select, modify, and hit smooth. I usually do about 5 to 10 pixels for this. We're gonna do 5, and that'll round out the corners just a little bit. So then you're gonna right click, select inverse again, and delete. And now you have a solid color background for your art. And then you'll just crop this to the edges and save it as a PNG. Kiss cut stickers are often referencing sticker sheets, and a kiss cut is a contour cut around the sticker design, and it doesn't cut all the way through the paper, so you can peel it right off the sheet. I offer both kiss cut sticker sheets and kiss cut peel edges for die cut stickers in my shop, Spooky Stickers, and that just makes it easier for peeling the sticker from the backing paper. Same as die cut stickers, I receive a variety of file types for sticker sheets, and this can be simple or challenging depending on the design and the file type that I receive. So let's cover a couple of those options. PSD files with a layer for the sticker designs and a layer for the background are the easiest for me to work with, and you'll find the same as well. That way I can easily select the sticker designs to make outlines for creating cut lines in Silhouette Studio, or adjust the border around the stickers if necessary. This particular example doesn't have borders around, so the background of the sticker is just going to be whatever the background pattern is on the sheet. A quick tip for you, if your stickers have a border on the sheet, make sure it is thick enough for cut lines to fit and have enough room for a slight offset. Even calibrated machines won't always cut perfectly around the design, and smaller spaces for cut lines mean much more obvious mistakes on the final sheet. So we're going to use this as an example. So to add or adjust a border in Photoshop, you can either use the modify expand trick that I showed you in the die cut example, or you can select the sticker design layer in the layers panel, go to FX, stroke, and pick the thickness and the color that you want for your stickers. That's about what I would recommend right there. Now onto the background of the sheet. If your sticker design has a plain colored background like this, or a white background for your sticker sheet, you can skip this step. But for elaborate background designs, here's my trick. Sticker sheet files are often already cropped to the size of the sheet, for example 4 by 6 inches, but I don't want white edges to occur on the final sheet when I do cut. So I'll select the layer with the background, pick the crop tool, and hold Shift-Alt and pull a little tiny bit from the corner. This will give me a little bit of extra room evenly around the entire sheet from the center. Press Enter to finalize the crop, and then use the magic wand tool to select the transparent area. Now this next part may require you to hand draw details or add in the textures or brushes or whatever it is you use to make the background manually to extend those borders a little bit, but I'm working with other artists, so I don't usually have those resources. And this is also a huge time saver if you have already flattened all of your files and don't have a PSD and you just want to quickly do this. So with this transparent area selected, you're going to go to Edit, Fill, and make sure Content Aware is turned on, and click OK. This feature doesn't always give perfect results, but we're just making sure that colors and textures are present around the border so that if a little bit of an offset cut does happen, you're not going to see white edges on the edge of the sheet. And of course, I will clean this up as necessary while it is selected, because again, it's not perfect, but that's pretty good. Now, once all of that is done, you're going to save your file as a transparent PNG. Now that we have all of our borders sorted out, we're going to make easy cut lines in Photoshop. The following method is what works best for me, and you may have something else that works for you. Do whatever it is that you need to do. But this may be a simple hack for you as well. So go back to your layer with the sticker designs, and using the magic wand tool, make sure the sample all layers is turned off, and select outside any of the sticker designs to make a selection around the stickers. Right click and select inverse, and you're going to create a new layer and fill that entire layer with black or another very dark color. I'll explain in the next part why this is important, but it's become one of my easiest hacks. Turn all the layers off except for the black fill layer and save as a transparent PNG file with outline at the end so you know what it is and which file it belongs to. So I almost never use this method, but I know a lot of people work exclusively in Procreate. So let me show you really quickly how to make outlines for your stickers in Procreate. So you're gonna take your flattened artwork and duplicate it. You're gonna go to the bottom artwork and turn on Alpha Lock, and you're going to color that black. And then you're gonna turn Alpha Lock off, so it's all solid black. And then you're gonna go to the adjustments, you're gonna go to Gaussian blur, and you're gonna slide this around until you get a little bit of an outline that looks to be the thickness of how big you want the stroke around the stickers. And you'll tap up here again to select it. And then you're gonna go to the selection tool, make sure automatic is turned on, and you're gonna tap outside. So it's already giving you this border. If you wanted to adjust it a little bit, you could. I'm gonna do about right there. You're gonna click invert, and then you're gonna click onto the layers tab again, so you can see your border is all selected and locked. Click the plus for a new layer, and then you're going to pick whatever color you want that border to be. So we're gonna do a darker green just so you can see it a little bit better. Drag and drop that into the selection. Tap the selection again. And now you have a border. So you can delete that layer. And if you turn off the background color and save this as a PNG, you now have a transparent PNG sticker with a colorful border. So now that our files are all prepared, we're gonna open Silhouette Studio. Okay, so we have Silhouette Studio open. We are in the design panel, and you can load your sticker files in. And if applicable, make sure you are opening your PNG artwork file and the outline file at the same time. So for die cut stickers, I'll show you how to make cut lines for designs with white borders and for designs with colorful borders and no white edges. For white border designs, I prefer to work with a fully transparent PNG file. First, you'll select your artwork and make sure it is roughly the size that it's going to be when you cut the final stickers. Now, unless your artwork is very tiny and you're trying to resize it into a bigger sticker, Silhouette Studio is really great about keeping like quality of the design. But if you're trying to enlarge something really small to really big, you're gonna run into quality issues. Once your artwork is that size, go to the toolbar on the right-hand side and you're gonna find the trace panel. Kind of looks like a butterfly. You will select the trace area. You're gonna click and drag over your entire artwork. Now, depending on the colors you're using, you might see something like this. It might pick up on very little of your artwork. So you're gonna wanna go to the threshold panel and slide this as far to the right as you can. Sometimes it's gonna pick up on little tiny specks of the artwork that you may not want to be part of the outline, and that's okay. We can delete those later. So once you're happy with it, click Trace Outer Edge, and then you're gonna have a red border outside the entirety of your sticker file. So if this had points that I didn't want, or like little pieces of red outline on something that I don't want to be part of the design, you would double click on the red outline until you see these anchor points, and then you just delete them until it is to your satisfaction. So I drag my mouse to select both of these, and then I'll shift click on the artwork so that only the red outline is selected. And then while it is selected, I'm gonna go to the offset panel, which is a star. You'll click offset, and Silhouette Studio automatically sets it to a 0.125 inch border. And depending on what size you want that outline to be, you can toggle this bigger or smaller. I prefer to do mine somewhere between 0.05 and 0.08. Click apply to finalize it, and be sure to select the original red border and delete that so it doesn't act as another cut file. So you can clean these up if you want. Here's some of those little anchor points that I was talking about. Once that is to your satisfaction, you can drag across them both, and you're gonna hit Control-G to group everything together. Now your sticker is one unit on the page. So when you're doing a sticker with a colorful border, you're gonna follow these steps exactly, but there's gonna be a little bit of a difference when you go to the offset panel. So assuming the colorful border on your file will be the edge of the final sticker, the original red outline will be your cut line. So the next step is to prevent any white edges. Click the red outline, go to offset, And this part is again at your discretion, but I like to do 0.04 or 0.05. We're gonna do 4 on this one. And while that new offset outline is still selected, you'll go up to the toolbar at the top and find the drop-down menu with a red box. Click the down arrow and click the gray checker pattern to make the outline transparent. So it's still selected, and while it's still selected, you can't see it. Go to the other box here on the left, and you're gonna click the eyedropper tool, and you're gonna drag that and select the color of your background. So now the whole image has become the color of your background color, but you can see the red outline and the color has extended beyond it, and I call that a bleed edge. So you can right click on this, go to send to back, and it is now behind your artwork and the cut lines. Then you'll once again select them to group, and your whole sticker is one unit once again. So for sticker sheets, you're gonna follow the exact same process with or without the help of the outlines that we created. So very quickly, I will show you what I do for that. Once again, select trace area. I delete the black, copy these cut lines, paste them into this artwork, and I'm going to outline them. Great, so that looks good. Delete the original. You can close your outlines. I'm gonna get rid of this one funky little guy down here. And I'm gonna group these together. If you are not working with pre-made cut lines like I made in Photoshop, depending on your artwork, if it's dark enough, you can use that trace panel tool to select that and select only your stickers, but sometimes your sticker designs are lighter than the background and it's gonna pick up on the background instead of your stickers. You can still work around that, but it's a little bit more complicated, so I just prefer to do it this way. So the next step is going to depend on your sticker sheet. If you have a white background, you're gonna skip this step. And if you have a sticker sheet with a solid color background, you will follow the same steps that I showed you for the round sticker with a colorful border. So you'll create a bleed edge for it. But this sticker, we extended the artwork a little bit, so we're going to reuse the bleed edge that we have made in the file. We're gonna make sure that our sheet is the dimensions that we need. On the left toolbar, you're gonna find the drawing tools, and depending on what sort of border you want for your sticker sheet, if you want square corners or if you want rounded corners, will depend on which tool you select. This customer wants rounded corners, so we're gonna select the rounded corner rectangle tool. Now, your sticker cut lines are already red, and when you send them to print, you don't want to confuse your cutter, so we're gonna make the cut lines for the border of the sticker sheet a different color. So back up in that line tool color bar, I'm gonna select another color, and I like to just use green. So off to the side of your design with your rectangle tool selected, you're gonna want to drag and select a size of a rectangle that's roughly the size of your final sticker sheet. Now, this doesn't really matter for the square corner ones, but if you're doing a rounded corner shape and you do a really small one and then you resize it manually, there's something funky that happens to the corner. So this is just to keep the shape and integrity of the corners intact. So I have this roughly the same size as the 5x7 sheet, and then I'm going to unlock the dimensions and I'm going to make it exactly 5x7. Now I'm going to pick my select tool and I'm going to drag across and select both of these at once, and I'm going to go to this centering crosshair icon and center them. So it looks like my sheet is a little bit bigger than the final dimensions, so I'm going to just make this a tiny bit smaller so you don't have an overwhelming amount of bleed edge. And then you're gonna just group, and your whole sticker sheet is one unit. So if the edges look correct, then you will be finished with your sticker sheet, and now we can create a printable sheet. So let's turn this blank sheet into something that can be printed and registered to cut stickers. On the right toolbar, you will click the page setup panel all the way at the top. And this is going to give you some different options to set up, like your cutting mat and let the program know what machine you're using. All of this is just set to default based on what I'm already using. So you're going to click on this little page that has the 3 black squares. And this is where you deal with your registration marks. So you will toggle your registration marks on, and everything else I leave exactly as it is, but I like to grab this inset scroller and slide it all the way to the left as far as I can. This is going to give you the maximum amount of space to cut on the page. So the black squares are your registration marks that your machine will read. These little hatch marks are areas of registration that you should not put anything. If it has any kind of printed anything there, it's not going to register. And this red line shows you the cut border. So this is the bounding box of what can be cut within this space. And if you have this selected all the way to the left on inset, the rough dimensions of this cuttable space, depending on where exactly you're using it from, is about 9.5 by 7 inches. So the next part can be really tricky and take a lot of practice, especially if you hate Tetris. But you're going to duplicate your stickers. I'm going to go ahead and grab this one. You're going to duplicate your stickers on the page and move them around to fit as best as you can, as use up as much of the space as you can. You can use this little green circle at the top of the bounding box to rotate your sticker around so that it can be in different orientations for better fit. I have found that if you mirror stickers side by side that are the same design, sometimes they like to fit nicely. So you're basically going to do this until you've filled all of the printable space on the page. And some sticker shapes don't allow you to do a whole lot with the space. But you have to get creative. For sticker sheets, I can easily fit something about 4 by 6 inches twice on a page, but if I have a 5 by 7 sticker sheet, it can get a little bit tricky, and sometimes I can fit 2 and sometimes I can't. But the darker colors that are closer to registration marks make it harder for the sensor to read the registration marks. So you have to be very mindful about what you put near them. So once you have your stickers all laid out, double check all of the edges, make sure none of the cut lines on the stickers are overlapping with one another, and make sure none of the cut lines are over this red border or they will not be cut. And now it's time to save your file. You'll want to save this in 2 different ways, one as a Silhouette Studio file and one as a PDF. PDF will have the registration marks for printing, because otherwise if you just print it as it is, it wouldn't have registration marks and you couldn't read it on your machine and you don't get to have stickers. Control S will automatically save your file as a Silhouette Studio. Oh God, see, I wasn't even paying attention. So Control S will save your file as a Silhouette Studio, and you'll want to name it however you want to name your files. I name mine based on a certain way for my customers, for myself, for my printer to know. So once that's saved, you will hit Control P or Print to bring up the print dialog box. Now this is probably going to look a little bit different if you're working on a PC instead of a Mac, but however you can get to a saved to PDF way, get there. So we're going to just click PDF. That's going to save it as a PDF, and you're going to want to make sure that the PDF is the same name as your cut files for just easier finding and keeping everything organized. So click Save, and now you have 2 files saved. Now we are going into the printing phase. Printing is going to look different based on every scenario, based on what computer and printer combination you have, what printer and sticker paper brand combination you have, etc. So I'm not going to get into the details of that, but I will show you at least how I get to all of that. So when you're ready to print, you're going to go to your file, find the PDF, and you're going to open it in a PDF document opener, whatever you have, if it's Acrobat or whatever else. And then I'll go through my print settings and set them up the way that I need to, and print however many sheets I need to print. Now, again, most of my prints are done with a local printer who handles all of my sticker paper, and they print everything I need. And when I'm ready to print stuff with them, I just email them those PDF files so they're ready to go with all the information they need to handle the prints. And now you are one step closer to making stickers. It is the next day and it is time for the next step. And this one is an optional one. We're gonna cover laminating your stickers. So the lamination step is incredibly optional depending on your needs and your resources. And before anybody asks, I actually do not disclose the brand of lamination I use. It is my trade secret that I keep close to my chest. But there are tons of different brands, tons of different kinds of lamination available to try. Laminating your stickers is great if you want your stickers that are waterproof to be a little bit more durable, if you want your stickers to be scratch proof, or if you want to give them a little bit of shine with holographic lamination. And I will say, laminating stickers is an art form of itself. It has taken me years of trial and error and a lot of frustration to get techniques down that work for me. But even with the techniques that I have almost perfected, there are still going to be times where you're getting wrinkles and bubbles in the lamination. But it works 99% of the time. So it could work for you, it could not work for you. So for this step, I am using a felt tipped squeegee and a hot laminator. Now, the hot laminator is not necessary since the backing of the lamination is already adhesive, but I like to run it through there just to really combine the lamination with the sticker paper. So that part is completely optional. So I start by laying the sticker sheet out in front of me, and I will peel back the top inch or so of the lamination very carefully. I will line it up with the front of the page, the top of the page. And I'll press it down and just make sure it's on there. Then I will flip this around, take my squeegee, and very carefully, very slowly, but with a lot of pressure, as much pressure as I can do, I will press. This is a great way to avoid bubbles. And then I just go back over and press along the designs to make sure that everything's really on there. There's not going to be any bubbles or wrinkles. And literally almost no matter what, there might be some bubbles at the top or the very bottom of the sheet depending on the amount of pressure that you have. So I actually sometimes will keep that in mind when I'm setting up the sticker file, and I will avoid those areas if I can. Some types of laminations go on easier if you start with the corner instead of doing the whole top inch. And that's going to take some trial and error to figure out on your end. Oof, I don't like that noise. All smooth. Just be prepared for a lot of trial and error as you learn this process. It is going to be frustrating. There's going to be a lot of ruined sticker sheets and lamination sheets, so just be prepared for it. Oh God. See, sometimes there are wrinkles, but I was able to get most of them out. And I've been doing this for years. Another tip I would like to say is that with my machines, at least, I found that I don't have a problem if I cover the registration marks with holographic lamination. I would definitely test this out before you do an entire batch of laminated stickers, only to find out that they won't read, but that's just my experience with my Silhouette Cameo 3s. So your stickers are printed, in some cases they are laminated, and it is now time to cut them. So grab your cutting mats, put your sticker paper onto the mats, and load them into the machines. And if your space is darker, you can use lights like these to add more light to help the registration sensor read more clearly. So once your stickers are loaded in, you're going to return to Silhouette Studio, open the file for the sticker sheets that you're cutting, and we're going to open the send panel at the top here. If you're making plain die cut stickers with a white background or anything else like that, you're gonna stay in the Simple tab. But for stickers where you've added an extra border for color, or sticker sheets with 2 cut types, you're gonna click on Line. A quick tip, not all machines are going to have the ability to toggle automatically between different blade depths. And if your machine does have that ability, you will need a ratchet blade because that can automatically toggle in between different cut settings. And here's another part that my personal settings are going to deviate quite a bit from yours depending on a variety of things, but I'm not going to share what all of my cut settings are. I've done a lot of trial and error over the years for different custom cut settings based on paper type, based on cut type, whether or not the paper is laminated or not, and you're going to need to run these tests on your own to figure out what's going to work best for you and your machine and your paper. But let's assume that you've already done that and you've saved your custom cut settings into the materials list. All of mine are here. You're going to select whatever cut setting you need based on the material that you just loaded in to the machine. For sticker sheets and stickers like this one that have the colorful border and a peel edge, you're going to see 2 different line colors. Each line color is going to distinguish a different cut setting based on the needs of the paper. If you put this or a sticker sheet through the cutter on the Simple tab, you're going to see all of these lines, including the outline border color that you made to keep a white edge from happening. All of these are red, and that means your machine is not only going to cut every single one of these outlines, but it's all going to be the same exact cut setting. So that's why we're in the Line tab. These are actually out of order. I like to do my deepest cuts last. So the red line is going to be the kiss cut line. So I'm going to pick the setting for that accordingly. And the green line is the die cut line, which is going to cut all the way through the paper. So once your cuts are all set, all of your materials have been selected, and your settings are ready to go, you are going to click Send. And listen to the glorious symphony that is making stickers. But you don't have to listen to this like I do. I suffer for my customers, so I will see you momentarily when these are all done. When your stickers are done cutting, unload them from the machine and remove them from the mat. Sometimes I like to bend the mat to pop the stickers off, but you can also use a small spatula to lift them carefully. And look at that! You guys have made stickers! The process of making stickers can be fun, but also incredibly challenging and super frustrating, especially if you are struggling with printing or the cut settings with your paper. But once you're able to figure it out, it's so rewarding and the possibilities are endless. It's so much fun to be able to turn your artwork into stickers. And of course, if you are ready to make stickers but don't want to invest the time or the money into making them yourself, I am happy to go through the process of making your stickers for you. You can order stickers with me at spookystickers.site and feel free to use this coupon for 15% off your first order. I hope this video was useful to anybody who was looking to learn how to make stickers themselves at home, and be sure to hit like and subscribe if you have not already. But I've got to get back to working on all of these sticker orders, so I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!
And that's why I wish you the best.